In this lesson, we'll look at how to create DR databases for SQL Server. So there are a couple of ways of doing it. As you can see here, we have three databases that are available. I can choose to create one DR database at a time, or I can choose the option of selecting multiple databases and creating the DR databases at the same time. Let's look at both these options. So first, let's look at creating a single databases. So I'm choosing EMP. I'm clicking on Setup Disaster Recovery, and here are the options that are available. The first and foremost option is whether choose to use transportable media. So if your database is very large in size, let's say around 500 GB to a terabyte, and you don't have a dependable network bandwidth to transfer these files from primary to standby, you could use transportable media. This could be an shared drive location or an NFS drive or even an external media where you can detach and attach. In this case, we are not using a transportable media. And the next step is to choose the full backup location on your primary and full backup location on the standby. This location should be able to accommodate your entire database backups. So choose this location in such a way that it will accommodate your backups. Next is the data file locations. So on primary, this is the location my data files are, and by default, this location the standby data files will go to in the standby server. Next is your log file location, the same thing. So this is the location of my log files in my primary, and this is the default location it will go to in my standby server as well. So you can choose to change these locations to a different location for your standby as well. And the next two options are to enable your automated standby update. This is your default 300 seconds. So this would ensure that every 300 seconds or 5 minutes, a transaction log backup is taken from the primary and transferred to the standby and restored on the standby database. So the standby is always 5 minutes behind the primary. The next is the observer. Enabling this observer will ensure the configuration is monitored as soon as the DR database is created, and it will notify in case of any issues pertaining to your DR configuration. Click Start. Since the database is small in size, the steps are much more faster. So the backup of the primary database taken, the backup is being transferred to primary to standby, and the DR database is created. And it also applied the automated standby update and also enabled the observer. Now let's look at how to create multiple DR databases at the same time using the options. So I'm selecting both these configurations, open multiple configuration actions, set up disaster recovery. Now this would ensure it will list what are the parameters that was discussed earlier. Instead of one database at a time, it's going to list out the number of databases that you have chosen to create the DR database for, and you can change these options here and then start. So this is my AdWorks database. The database is a little bit bigger in size, so it takes a little bit time. So it's restored and it's completed. So as soon as my DR database is created, automatically the automated configuration standby update is enabled. Automatic standby update is enabled. This is by default 300 seconds. You can choose to change it to a different timestamp as well. For example, you can choose to reduce it to 120 seconds, just 2 minutes. Thank you.